the manufacturers and the brands, what are the biggest challenges they're facing at the moment? Because, you hear different things, and, certainly I hear supply chain inflation affects different people differently. What are their biggest challenges that they're facing at the moment? So maybe if you can focus on an established type of brand, like, a more established brand, what are their biggest concerns today? And then for a manufacturer, what's their kind of issues?
Yeah, well, I think across the board is definitely a rising costs. And, you keep hearing it's, COVID related, but you never really get the absolute transparency about what exactly does that mean. So the biggest, the one I've come across in recent times is the international freight. We bring in karma bites from India, and it's just literally been tripled in the last 18 months. It's starting to come down again, but obviously you can't pass all of that on, right? So I think any manufacturer, any brand right now has been faced with cost increases in one way, shape or form over the last through COVID, so the last 2 years, let's say. And, it's just almost impossible, to pass all of that on, because the retailer has to reflect that in the cost price to maintain their margin. So that would be right up there at the very top, I would say.
Yeah. And, if it's a $5 product, no one's going to pay $7 for it. That's just not really a possibility, is it?
That's right. But coming back to your inflation question, there is some inflationary activity happening out there, obviously, because, cost increases everywhere. Some are being accepted, and obviously, the bulk of it is being reflected in the sell price. So, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I was reading some stats out of the US, and they were saying that the cash that's been pumped into the US economy, because they went ballistic during COVID and then even after COVID, the cash that's been pumped in is going to take 18 months to actually circulate out of the economy. And they've just passed another $350 billion bill, which is going to, circulate probably about another 70 or 80 billion into the economy in the next 12 months. So that's just going to push it out now. So they're going to have inflation for the next year. And it's going to be pretty solid. And that, whatever happens there, happens here 6 months later.
Yeah. It's tough. And I think anecdotally, I've heard from several of my peers in the industry that, consumers, that, they've got deep pockets and shorter arms. At the moment, so something they would have purchased weekly is now fortnightly or monthly, especially in generally speaking, the growth areas are premium or sub premium that are a little bit above kind of mainstream, if you like. So the sort of proposition between a sort of $2 packet of pasta versus a $3 or $4 protein ball is being looked at with a little bit more discerning than it may have been over the last pre-COVID. And I think that's and all the the government funding has obviously dried up with the the subsidies that were being dished out during COVID, which was great. But it's tough. It's tough out there. Consumer sentiment is tough, I would say.